It's C-Doc again.
Yo, what's up, party people in the place to be? I don't have my music started or anything. I'm not with it tonight. Damn. Got to get in the game, son. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. It's Tuesday night, which means it's... There it is. I got the shirt on. It's C-Doc again. I'm your host, C-Doc. Again. And, yes, for those that don't know, I am the president of the Spit Slam record label group that is owned and run by my partner, Mr. Chuck D of Public Enemy. I'm also a producer, filmmaker, editor, writer, yada, yada, yada. That's enough about me. I'm going to bring on my co-host, the man, our social media wonderkind from the land down under, Louisville, Kentucky, So Chuckified.
Yeah. What's up?
What's happening, Captain?
I'm wearing my C-Doc shirt as well tonight.
All right, that's good. We got it going on.
Representing the Hizud.
Yep, got to. What's the haps?
Oh, nothing. I was just sitting over here going over some corrupt lyrics.
Oh, celebrating the dog pound.
K-U-R-U-P-T. You know, he is from Philly.
Oh, corrupt is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, you can't hear that?
Well, I knew he was East Coast, but I wasn't sure where from. So.
There's a reason I'm bringing that up.
Yes, there's a good reason. So
yeah, I didn't know that, so I've kind of snaked into this thread on Twitter. I was like, oh, okay, that's what's up. That was good, man.
Gotcha.
How's Rocco feeling?
Rocco is getting better. He's gonna go back to school tomorrow. Finally, he's still on his he's not a amoxicillin, but the other one. Davey's on amoxicillin. Rocco's on the other one.
Oh,
but they're getting better.
Good.
So, you know, kids and little germ infestations that they are.
Oh yeah, they're building up the immune system.
Yes, I hope theirs ends up being better than mine. I was gonna bring JOJ on, but I can't see her, so we'll wait till her camera comes back.
Yeah, she needs to put her pants on before she gets on.
Yeah. Hey, did you? Oh, all right.
I knew I'd bring her.
There you go. Yes, our other co-host this evening, our lady from the West Side, hailing from the heyday of K-Day, Jennifer O'Jenny.
With what in the hell is going on?
What is going on?
Yeah, we were.
Maybe you didn't have your pants on.
To ask. The headphones.
What in the actual was all of that?
I'm not sure, but that's okay. I
okay.
figured you were trying. Now you. There you go.
Nice.
Just in time for good. Ice cream. I don't know.
Fall.
They're dope. Fall. Not really fall though, are they? Or is that California fall?
Yeah, they are.
Orange.
California fall.
California fall. Wasn't it Marlena Shaw?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's California Soul.
Did we all get the memo?
I guess we did.
Yeah, I know, right?
What is really going on?
Oh, it's matching shirt day on the show, and we didn't even know.
Right?
Did you put a cut in yours, Jenny?
I sure did. Because I didn't want it to be up here like this.
Cleavage cut?
Jenny, don't play. I think Mara does that.
Do it
with her shirts too.
You need to do. You need a cleavage cut.
That reminds me. Yeah, I do actually.
Oh, there you go. Wait, was I not supposed to say that? Anyway, hey, today, November 1st, is an anniversary day. So Chuckified, and oh my God, Mara said she needs to show the goods. You need to show the goods. Not on the show.
Don't.
We'll wait until after.
Yeah. That's another show. But anyway,
wow.
Today,
that's the C-Doc again. OnlyFans.
That's right. That's right.
Anyway, today is the anniversary of this album right here.
Oh,
Public Enemy's
yeah.
New World Odor. And this is special because... Why is it special, So Chuckified?
Because it has the greatest C-Doc track ever created on it.
No, well, that's not really the reason why, but
Okay.
because for those that don't know, some of you might know, but because So Chuckified reads liner notes, and since this was my first credited Public Enemy song production, So Chuckified knew who I was, and when we ran into each other at a show in Cincinnati that PE was playing and my group, The Impossibles, were playing, Professor Griff introduced me to So Chuckified. He was like, "Wait, you're C-Doc?" I'm like, yeah. Like nobody had ever said that to me before. So, and that began this entire journey way back when.
Yeah.
It brought us
Paul
here today.
Harvey.
Yeah, exactly.
For the rest of the story.
And that's the rest of the story.
My favorite part of that story was your reaction, but then also Professor Griff's reaction when he introduced himself, and I'm like, "You're the last Asiatic disciple," and he gave me this double look, like, "Who is this fat white motherfucker in Kentucky that knows that?"
Oh, dude, you came walking up. And you're a big
husky.
guy. Yeah, you're a husky
big boned.
guy. And you've got the Southern accent, and you're like, "Oh, you're Professor Griff." I'm like, "Oh shit." I'm thinking the word. I'm thinking this guy is like,
We're gonna throw down.
Gonna throw down. Is like,
This is going nowhere fast.
And then it was, yeah. And then, you were like, "You're the last Asiatic disciple." I was like, "Oh shit, this guy. Okay, this guy's all right. This guy knows what's going on." So
the funny part about it was after the show, we snuck backstage. Chuck was getting ready to get in a SUV or something to go to the airport because he was like, "I'm getting the fuck out of Kentucky," and I didn't blame him. I got a
no. Go ahead. Tell your story. Because I think
that was my first photo op with Mr. Chuck, and I still have it. I think it's a Polaroid even.
Wow,
dude,
it's framed over his bed.
No, because I'm like this. I'm like I was like starstruck, dude. My whole face looked like I was like just been hit in the stomach. And I was just like, "Oh my god, it's Chuck D."
Was Bootsy Collins there that night?
Yes, Bootsy was there.
So that's where we went. We ended up going back to Bootsy Collins' house.
Oh yeah, what a rough life. God dang.
It was insane. It was insane.
Yeah.
I was supposed to drive to Indianapolis. That's where we were staying the night because we were playing Chicago the next day. We were going to stop in Indianapolis. Gotcha. Marcus's sister lived there. We were going to crash there. And at the last minute, I forget who it was. Somebody told me, it was like, "Hey, we're going to go to Bootsy Collins' house." I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, you should come." I'm like, "Yes." And I grabbed Tyrant. I'm like, "Yo, you got to ride with me." And he's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Just trust me. You want to be with them." He's like, "Okay." And it was amazing, but it was also then after we went to Bootsy's house, I still had to drive to Indianapolis. So,
oh man, that's
it was 4 a.m, and I'm just like, I'm like, hitting my face and trying to stay awake, and Tyree's like pushing me. He's like, "Come on." I'm like, "Can you drive?" He's like, "Hell no, I can't drive." And he's like, I'm like, "Oh god, we're gonna die." So, but whatever, wouldn't trade for anything. Man. Influence, get him. What's up?
Good to see. Where's he been at? I haven't seen him in a minute.
Yeah,
I guess I must not be on social enough.
Yeah, he's rolling around doing his thing. So Get Off My Lawn Films. What's up?
Yeah, who is that? Who's Get Off My Lawn Films?
I don't know. PE fan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Griff, the real one though. That's right.
That's right. So yeah. Anyway, happy anniversary. What? Yes. 17 years. 17 years of New World Order. Crazy. Crazy.
Such a good track, dude. What is that thing like? It's the whole side A, isn't it, or side B?
It's the last song. So yeah, it's like 11, almost 12 minutes.
Yeah.
It was 12 minutes, and then Chuck said, "Hey, speed it up a little bit." And I was like, "Okay."
You're like, "All right. No."
I'm like, "That's fine." so he just pushed the tempo up a little bit.
Mm.
But anyway, yeah, that's that. So anyway, sign up for JOJ's OnlyFans after the show, and
Don't.
Use the promo code. It's CDOC again.
Yes,
and you get free personalized videos.
No.
Sorry,
free. Yeah.
Sorry, Jennifer. Anyway,
Why do you encourage him?
Oh boy. Anyway, tonight we have a guest that's I've been actually thinking about trying to get on the show for a long while, but he does his own shows, so I wasn't sure if it was going to sync up and time up, but luckily he's on a bit of a hiatus from recording, or he had time, and we'll let him tell it. I don't know why I'm saying this, but he's a producer. He's a co-host, or he's a show host. He's his bio says a lot. We have a lot in common. It says he's a screenwriter, and so I got to ask about that.
He's a bearded husband.
He's a bearded husband, yes, and loving father. Definitely, a great hip hop parent, because I love, and we're going to talk about that too.
We are the world.
Oh my God, Jen, come on. I'm trying. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, originally from Philly, now down in the DMV, it's Kill.
What's going on? What's
up, bro?
Thank y'all for having me, man. Good to be chopping it up with y'all tonight.
Thank you for being here. Like I said, you were somebody I wanted to, because I follow you on Twitter. You were somebody I wanted to bring on the show for a long while, but you do a lot of shows. You got a lot of stuff going on. So can you tell us about the shows that you do?
The big thing is Apartment 5B. That's my podcast. We've been doing it for maybe 5 years now. Originally started off, we called it Live from the Writer's Bench. It was me and my brother Ev, my man Bezo, my man Vic. And then, life gets in the way, folk get married, things happen. And, I kind of just tried to keep it going with Apartment 5B. Shout out my man Eddie, who's in the room from 5B too. We just kind of try to get in there every week and just, I really wanted to be like an educational tool for people about hip hop, because I'm 48. So a lot of people my age talk about the younger generation and y'all don't know nothing, but my challenge is that y'all teaching them anything. You know what I mean? So I wanted to make Apartment 5B somewhere where, like I always tell people, you can know nothing about hip hop. You come in, watch a good 30 episodes, you'll have your associates in hip hop. If you go out and you do if you do the knowledge, if I'm like listening to these albums and you listen to them and all that, you'll definitely, know about hip hop. What's going on, my man Wisdom? What's going on, fam?
Yep. Wisdom Beats in the place to be.
Yes, sir.
We still haven't gotten Wisdom Beats on.
I know.
Joker needs to quit his job so he can come on the show.
Just putting that out there again.
Stop talking about the Jennifer O'Jenny OnlyFans too.
That's why he wants. That's why he wants
up.
to come on the show. That's why he wants to come on. So, but no,
Jenny, you took OnlyFans to its knees. No pun intended.
Shut up. Shut up.
Sorry, Kill.
Oh, it's all good. I enjoy it.
My wife just said that your beard is better. Okay, thanks.
The beard game is strong. There's no
beard game
question.
is strong, bro.
It's Philly. It's in the genes. It's in the water. It's in the water of Philly.
So you and I are the same age. I didn't realize you were 48.
Hey man. I growing up in Philly, I didn't think I was gonna live past 18. So 48 is beyond a blessing, more than what I could have ever literally dreamt of at 18. So.
And you were I was listening to your show. You just had my partner on the show, Mr. Chuck D.
Yeah.
And I was listening to the episode, and you said at the top of the show that Chuck's music saved your life.
Yeah.
If you want to, can you elaborate on that?
I mean, it's 87, 88. I'm 13, 14 years old. I'm from Philly. I always tell people I'm from the Reagan 80s era crack. You know what I mean? So a lot of my friends were dabbling in that. And, at some time or point, I feel like if you're from the inner city or wherever, even if it's just for 2.8 seconds, you think like, yo, could I sell drugs? Like, even if it's just a thought, like, you think it, And it's like, nah, man, that would kill my mother. She works too hard for me. And then number two was like, yo, how can I sell drugs? I listen to Public Enemy. Like, that's my favorite group in the world. Like, Chuck D is my favorite MC. Like, how can I go out here and sell crack and listen to Night Living Bassheads and she watched Channel Zero? Like, I can't do that. You know what I mean? And Stack Selector said it. He said, yo, if hip hop didn't save your life, then you won't love it as much as I do. You know what I mean? And I think that that's a huge testament to why, you know, myself and a lot of other people our age feel that way about hip hop, because it's gotten us through some tough times. It's gotten us, you know, it gave us something to do. You know, if it wasn't for hip hop, I probably would have still been selling drugs, but I was always trying to make beats or DJing or sitting in the house writing rhymes, watching Beat Street, trying to get my backspin right. You know what I mean? Like, so hip hop literally kept me out of so much trouble. And I think it probably did that for a lot of people. We just may not see it that way, but we kind of take the time to sit back and look at it. It's like, damn, you're right. I would have been out on the block if I wasn't, you know, watching Breaking or Crush Groove for the 10th time or, you know, whatever like that. So,
yeah, man, it definitely was one of those things that came into our lives at the right time,
right,
sort of thing. Yeah, I'm thankful for it, man, because I don't even want to try, you know, I grew up in the suburbs and stuff like that, but we weren't like, you know, we weren't well off, you know, we were, you know, but my parents did okay. But I had very low self-esteem. I was a scrawny little kid. I get beat up in school a lot. So hip hop kind of gave, like, you know, I listened to PE and Chuck's like, you know, fuck that, go for yours. You got to fight for yourself. And I'm like,
right.
Okay, yeah, I got to fight for myself. Okay, and so it meant a lot to me too. So,
yeah. I mean, when we really, you know, sit back and think about it, I joke all the time because I call Big Daddy Kane like the Rosa Parks for dark-skinned people, because, you know, growing up in Philly, you know, from first grade to eighth grade, it was like, you know, Kill, you cute, but you too dark. You too dark. You know what I mean? And all this stuff. And then Big Daddy Kane came out. Then Rakim came out. And it was like, yo, like, I went to high school and I was like, I'm in style. Like, I'm trying to get with everybody because I don't know when I'm going to go out of style. Like, every year I come back to high school, like, yo, am I still in style? Like, all right, bet, another year, let's go, you know? So again, you know, like, even small things like that. It's like, you know, hip hop could influence people from even, you know, the color of your skin, just being like, you know, going from you're too dark to now all of a sudden, man, we want dark skinned guys. And it was like, word, like, and hip hop and pop culture, you know, has that effect on people, and it still does to this day. You know what I mean? But you know, it's just, you know, the ebbs and flows of hip hop. You know what I mean? Of life, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, and people got to remember, the people that, you know, either weren't into it, or more than likely they weren't born yet, you know.
Right.
It was such a different kind of dynamic back then.
Yeah.
Man,
yeah.
So
it's like it's like cable television, man, back then. Like, you had so many channels. Like, you could listen to PE, you could listen to NWA, you could listen to Kid and Play, you could listen to De La Soul. Nobody sounded alike. Everybody was original. You know what I mean? Where now it's kind of like the opposite of what it was back in the day. Back in the day in Philly, you had 3, 6, 10. These were the TV channels. Like, you had NBC, ABC, CBS. Right. Then you had like some other channels, like ours was 17, 29, and 57. Like, you had 6 channels to rock with, you know, before cable. And it feels like that's how it is now with hip hop. Like, you either got a little bit of conscious rap, a whole lot of drug rap, a whole lot of coke rap, a whole lot of drill rap. You know, you got these 6 channels, and it's like it was the flip. We grew up where we had everything. You know what I mean? If you were in the mood for some rah-rah, you could listen to NWA. You wanted to chill out, listen to some Kid and Play or Kwame, you could do that. You had so many different places. And the thing that a lot of people don't realize is all these people got along. You know what I mean?
That was the main thing. It all coexisted.
Right.
So even if you were listening to a DJ mix, we had in Pittsburgh here, we had Whammo, WAMO. And so when Whammo finally, they resisted for a long time playing hip hop, but when they finally gave over to it, Saturday nights, the DJs would do the mixes and all that stuff. They would play all of it.
Right. I mean, there would be world tours with NWA, Too Short, Kid and Play, Jeff and the Fresh Prince, and you look at this lineup back then, and it was like, yo, that's dope. You look at it now, it's like, yo, that's crazy. That'd be like Chance the Rapper, West Side Gun,
Right.
you know, Boldy James and Amigos all on one show.
All
And you
on one
look
show.
at it like, yo, this is 8 different crowds. But back in the day, it was all love, and all those people respected each other. It wasn't like NWA was looking down at Kid and Play like, y'all ain't thugs and y'all not gangsters, y'all ain't kill nobody. It was like just all this love and respect, and just such a great time, man. I miss it. I hate sounding like that old head, like, man, the good old days, but you know, it truly feels like, yeah, these were the good old days. You'd read the liner notes and everybody would be shouting each other out. It would, everybody showing love and everything. And you get to it now and it's just like, yo, it's a whole nother world out here. You know, you got rappers dying once a week out here, which is crazy to me, you know?
Yeah.
Crazy. Totally crazy.
Yeah, R.I.P. to Takeoff today too, man.
Yeah. I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
Yep. Damn.
And it's so funny because people hit me like, yo, Kill, I know you like the Migos. I really didn't listen to their music, but it's another person who died.
Yeah, exactly.
It's another black man who died at the hands of violence. So it doesn't matter if I'm a fan of the music. It's like someone died, and whether I enjoyed his music or not, he was part of the culture. So, you know, how can you not have empathy? So it's not about, no, I wasn't a Migos fan. I probably can't name you two. Bad and bougie. That's all I got, you know, but it doesn't matter. Like, somebody's no longer here, you know, God forbid if he had kids, somebody doesn't have his father, mother doesn't have her son anymore. Like, so how can you not have empathy for that? You know?
Yeah. That's the thing. It's still hip hop, and we still got to rally around and support, you know, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, and it's over some stupid shit that, quite honestly, it really needs to stop.
Yeah.
You know, it really needs to stop.
Yep. All right. Anyway, we're gonna move on from that. Yeesh.
All right.
So one of the other, I don't know how regular the show is, but you and your daughter talking about samples.
Yeah.
Who played it better? I love that stuff. That's just like,
thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great. It's great that because because I play it all the time, and my kids know stuff, and so my 5-year-old right now, he's into it like my 11-year-old was. My 11-year-old is finally exploring his own path and stuff. He'll still come back to hip hop, but he's into old rock and roll right now, and blues. So, but my 5-year-old's like, oh yeah, he'll start rapping and stuff. It's hilarious. But it's great to see you deep diving into that stuff with your daughter. It's just really inspiring. But go ahead, tell everybody about that.
It was one day we were in the studio, and it was just like we were listening to music, and I was like, yo, let me play you the sample. And it was like, what's the sample? I'm like, oh, it's where, you know, they take a part of a song and reuse it again. And we started Daddy Daughter Digging, where I would play her the original sample and then play her 2 people who used it. And she would pick which one she liked better. You know what I mean? So was doing a lot of stuff, but the only problem with Twitter is, you know, I was getting suspended because it was like copyright infringements. Yeah, like it would. So that's why we stopped it. We had about 9 or 10 episodes. You know what I mean? We actually just did one last week when we were in Baltimore record shopping together. But I got to put it on IG because Twitter, you know, like it was just always copyright infringements. I keep that one up there just because the songs are a little bit older. You know what I mean? And then that way I know if they hit me, I'm like, all right, it's my pen tweet. I can delete it. Where in the past, you know, I used to give my kids free haircuts in my teen center if they got good grades, and I would put music behind it. And I would be getting suspended for stuff like that, you know? And then it's like I can't find that particular tweet to delete, you know what I mean? So it's just a whole lot of hoopla, you know? But yeah, I mean, I love it. And now she's 17, and she woke me up last week and was like, yo, can we go digging today? And I'm like, yes. We can. You know, we went to Baltimore and we spent the whole day record shopping, and you know, she went in the record store. It's like, yo, you think they got a Funkadelic's Cosmic Slop? And like another little tear came to my eye, like, oh no, go ask the guy at the front of the store. You know, and it was just like such a proud father moment because I never pushed any of this on her. It was never like you got to dig and you got to
right.
Nothing like that. It was just, you know, she really, during the pandemic, she really got into music, and music really helped her through that 18 months of being stuck in the house. And, you know, just coming out of the pandemic, it was just like, yo, I want to go to a lot of shows. And, you know, she really got into music. So, you know, it's a blessing, man. It's definitely dope. I'm always big on, if you love something, how can your kids not know about it?
Yeah.
Not that your kids have to love it, you know, but how can you not know about it. If you're big in the church, you're probably dragging them to church every week. You're dragging them to Bible study. You're dragging them to choir rehearsal. Like, how can you like whatever, fill in the blank, rock and roll, and not have your kids know about that? How can you love football and your kids not know about it? So it's just always funny to me when people are like, yo, I love hip hop. Will your kids know about it? Nothing. I'm like, yo, how did that happen? You know what I mean? So, and I was a real different type of dad. Like, it was like, when she was young, it's like, yo, I'm not stopping. Like, a lot of other people may be like, yo, I got a kid, I can't do X, Y, and Z. I was everywhere with Naomi, record shopping, basketball games. So like, she was with me all the time. You know what I mean? So it was just like, she kind of was really raised into it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, no, that's
awesome.
Great. Yep. Yeah. We went to I took the whole family. There was a record fair nearby here last weekend or whatever. Yeah. So, and Davey's like, hey, can I get off? I'm like, no, you pick one, dude. You just pick one.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Those are the memories that, they'll keep forever, man.
Yeah. Yep. It's cool stuff. So go ahead, Chuck. I'm kind of hijacking.
Well, no, I
know you had a question.
I'm kind of like zeroing in just like you did on Skull Snaps back there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorite pieces right here.
Yeah, man.
The legendary Paul C, first one to use this. Out of Queens, used it for Stezos. It's my turn. The first time I heard these drums, and just a great, amazing album, man. Just crazy. But yeah, R.I.P. Paul C, one of the dopest producers a lot of people don't know about and don't talk about.
Yep, one of the best. Anytime we have anybody here on the show that worked with Paul, I always try to bring Paul up to do the knowledge, because we talked to Said G about him.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yep.
That is like one of my hip hop heroes, man. Critical Beatdown is probably a top 3 personal favorite hip hop albums. Probably It Takes a Nation, Criminal Minded, and then Critical Beatdown. And those can change anytime, but those are like my 3 favorite hip hop. Somebody just asked me on the timeline yesterday what beat made me want to make beats, and I was like, when I heard Funky by Ultramagnetic back in 1987, it was just like, yo, that piano line was just so crazy to me, and that's what got me into my love of digging, because I probably ran across that. It was the piano line from G-Rap's Road to the Riches, which is Billy Joel.
Billy Joel, yes.
My mother's a jazz musician and a big Billy Joel fan. So when I came across that record, it was like brain emoji, like, yo, that's G-Rap. Like, and it was just after that, it was like, just searching where can I find, a sample that somebody else used. Because it's just something like that feeling is, not to be too crazy. It's like the first time you have sex, it's like, yo, you finding out that sample, like, yo, somebody used this, and it's like, this is what they do. Oh, maybe I could do that. You know what I mean? And it just turned into what you see behind you. And there's records throughout this whole house. In the linen closet, there's records. In the downtown, there's records. In Naomi's room, there's records in the closet. So yeah.
So where you put all your shoes in? Because you're a sneakerhead as well.
Yo, here's the crazy part. I'm gonna try to turn it. They're kind of like all stacked up, like in behind there. Like there's probably about 30 or 40 pair right here, and there's another 30 or 40 pair behind all of that stuff too. So yeah, I call this the stock room. I used to work at Foot Locker when I was in high school, and it reminds me of the stock room. Somebody tell you want that Jordan in the size 9, you gotta go in the stock room, go through all the sneakers. Okay, there's a 9, let me grab it. So that's like the name of the studio, the stock room.
That's great. When did you start making beats? When did you get your first piece of equipment and start to?
Oh man, the first piece of equipment, it was like some ad hoc. My man Osei, I started Morgan State in Baltimore in '92, and I met him in a pool hall, and he had a 4-track sampler. And no, I'm sorry, 4-track recorder, and he had like this little sampler to it, and it was like, okay, that's dope. And then I went home, and again, my mom is a jazz musician, and at the time, her boyfriend was a bass player, and he had left his 4-track at the house. And my man, Cool DJ Frank, had a DJ mixer with a sampler in it, and it's kind of like when I saw it, I was like, wait a second, 4-track sampler. I can make beats. It was like, yo, let me hold your 4-track. Let me hold this sampler. And it was literally like, I would sample the drum break on the mixer and just kind of record that on one of the 4 tracks.
Yep.
Then on the second track, I would just have to manually keep hitting the sample, and then on the third track, I may put in an echoing horn or something. To echo the horns, I would have to hit the sample button and then turn the volume.
Yes. Yes.
Like and then the fourth track would be, I may dump all three of those tracks on that fourth track, and then I'd open up three more tracks for it to come over and rap like that. And those were some fun days, man, because it just, again, the thing I love about hip hop is you're taking something that wasn't meant to do something to make it do something. Like this DJ sampler was not invented to make beats. The SP1200 was not made to echo horns and do all this stuff. Techniques did not make turntables to start a whole culture of, turntablism. But, it's just a testament of what, the love of something. You can take nothing and just make it into something beautiful. So that's what made me start making beats, man. And then eventually, my mom's invested in me and brought me an ASR 10 keyboard. And then after that, I got the MPC 2000 XL, and then I'm working on the machine now. So
how you like the machine?
I love it. I love it, man. I'm coming from the MPC. It was kind of like I wanted the best of both worlds. The MPC, my jump drive went on it. It died, and it was like, it'll be like $400 to get fixed, and then nobody was even using jump discs anymore. It was like, I remember I was going into like Office Depot, like, bro, I need one of these, and they was looking like, yo, what is that? And I'm like, it's a zip disc, and they're like, a zip? Like, what are you talking about? And I was just like, okay, well, it doesn't make any sense for me to spend $400 or $500 to get this fixed. Nobody sells these anymore. And then my man, Crazy Fingers, who's a very ill producer, was like, yo, why don't you just get the machine? It's like $500. It's the best of both worlds. You got the pads. It's part of your computer. It's the best of both worlds. And I absolutely love it. I did a whole podcast on how Akai would have to pay me to come back.
Wow.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. I've done projects with people who are on the MPC, and they're like, yo, Kill, how do you get your beats to sound so full and all of this? And I'm like, yo, it's all the things that you can do inside the machine. You know what I mean? So yeah, I love it, man.
That's cool.
That's dope.
Didn't Joe City use machine?
I was gonna say it was somebody we just talked to.
Yeah, I feel like it was Joe City. I'll go back and look.
I'll tell you this: Knots uses the machine, and Knots is an alien. Like that dude with the beats. He used to use the ASR. He was on the SP12. He's on the ASR. He's on the machine now, and it's just, again, I think so much of it is just what you do with it. It's just about your creativity. You know what I mean? So this, we're out of the days where you either had an SP1200, an MPC something, or ASR 10. Maybe an EPS, which was before the ASR. Like, you had to have one of those three things. Whereas now, Madlib, I didn't even know, somebody just told me this, that Madlib did all the bandana beats on an iPad. So, you know what I mean? Like,
I saw that, yeah.
We're now in a place where back in those days, if you had anything that wasn't those three pieces of machine, it was like, you ain't no producer. Whereas now, people get an iPad, people get an iPhone, and, it doesn't matter anymore. That's the great thing. There was a time where if you wasn't from New York or LA, you wasn't hip hop. Really just New York for a long time.
For a long time.
Now it's wide open. You could be from wherever you want to be. And it's just, if you're dope, you're dope. So, and like things like that with Apartment 5B, we do a monthly yearly show starting in 88 to kind of move up and kind of find out, because those things interest me. Like, why did that happen? Like, why did we go from this inclusive culture of, if you ain't from New York, you ain't hip hop, to just, and you could be from anywhere. Like, when did that happen? Was that, and why did it happen?
Right.
So a lot of times doing those shows, I may not know. We may figure it out together, just talking amongst ourselves. Like, oh shit, it probably happened. Yo, you right, it did happen. You know what I mean? So just like things like that, because hip hop has changed a lot over the last 50 years that we'll be at next year.
Yeah, next year.
In LA, we just had to get somebody decent that anybody else was going to recognize first.
Y'all had Ice-T. I mean, I think Ice was probably the first rapper, that I knew of, that I heard from LA back in '84 when he was in Break. Yeah. It was like, yo, Ice is dope. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I gotta, and he's coming on to talk a little bit in a bit. But I gotta give a shout out to Damage from Yag Fu Front. Because he hit me to this Koala app I've been trying to make beats on this, and this little thing is crazy. I've never thought
No.
I'd be making beats on my phone.
You guys were talking about, now guys can get a pad and Damage does everything on his phone.
On his phone. And
That's crazy.
I made like 4 dope beats on this. I'm like, are you shitting me? I'm like sitting on the phone.
You know what I've learned, and I recently learned this, that there's a blessing and a curse with everything.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And part of me is like, yo, that's dope. But then another part of me is like, yo, that's whack as shit. You know what I mean? Because back in the day, what I had to do to get some equipment, I can't even fucking talk about on this show.
Right.
Yep.
But it was the lengths that you were willing to go to get the equipment. And it kind of dictated how much you loved it. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like now everybody's a producer. You know what I mean? Everybody's an MC. Everybody's a videographer. I remember at Morgan in the 90s, if you wanted to do videos, there was only 2 people on campus. My man Cisco and my man Stephen O'Neill, because you had to walk around with them huge video cameras.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they would either have to borrow them from our media lab or you'd have to save up all your money to get that. And when you did that, you put the energy and the effort in it to get better. Yes. You know what I mean? But now if you just buy an iPhone, you're a photographer. You buy an iPhone, you're a videographer. If you know what I mean, you buy an iPad, you're a DJ now. You know what I mean? And it's like stuff when we start seeing celeb DJs, when I'd be like, oh, Q-Tip is DJing tonight. I'm like, when the fuck did Q-Tip become a DJ? Or Talib Kweli is DJing. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, yo, aren't you a rapper? Then it started getting worse. Solange is DJing. Alicia Keys is DJing. I'm like, yo, who is it? Because back in my day, I'm sorry, what were you saying, Jim?
Paris Hilton.
Yeah. But, and the thing was, back in our day, if you wanted to be a DJ, you needed these records. Yes. You could have all the equipment in the world. You have a state-of-the-art studio, but if you did not have the right records to rock a party, you weren't a DJ. Yep. And because of Serato, again, it's a blessing. Now DJs don't have to carry all these crates, but now the curse is, but you got 8 million DJs now. And it's the same with production. It's the same with photographers. I'll be seeing things on Instagram like photo credit to my daughter. She's 4. I don't know if your daughter needs photo credit. Like, she's literally 4, my God. Like, she just pressed a button. I'm not, disregarding that, but, she just pressed the fucking button. Like, I don't know if she needs photo cred. Like, but that's where we've taken it. So even when people come in my house, I have a lot of nice pictures of my daughter, and like, you're an ill photographer. I'm like, I just take pictures, because I respect the photography game. I was with my homegirl who was a photographer. We both had our cameras, and she was showing me all this fancy shit. I was like, oh, I just shoot on auto. And she looked at me like, dog, like, photographer, you just pushing a button. I'm like, yeah, so I make mixtapes. People were like, yo, you're an ill DJ. I just make good mixes. Like, I'm not a DJ. I make good mixes. I'm not a photographer. I take good pictures. Like, there's a difference, because I would never want to discredit the people who have put in the work and the effort and the time and taken classes to do these things, to just say I'm at the same level. I find that disrespectful, probably because I'm a producer. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people who don't do something probably are like, yo, what's the big deal? But I'm like, yo, if you study dance with Alvin Ailey and I'm, somebody's on TikTok and their bio is I'm a dancer, I'm sure that person who is really a dancer may be a little offended. Like, dog, you dance, but you're not a dancer. Like, it's a difference.
Right.
Yep.
I just heard this big argument exactly like this about celebrity DJs, and they're not really DJs. They're just playing their playlist.
And the funny thing, Jen, I call them playlisters.
Yeah.
That's what you are. You're a playlister. And here's the great part about, there's nothing wrong with a playlister.
Right.
If you have a great playlist, you could probably keep the party going all night long, but you're not a DJ. You are a playlister. I will give you credit for whatever you do. When people are like, Puffy's a producer, I'm like, Puffy has a lot of good ideas. And we need that in life. We need good idea havers. But you're not a producer because you said turn up the snare. That was a good idea. My grandmother would say, turn down the bass, you're shaking the house. I don't know if my grandmother gets executive production credit, or I can put her down as an engineer because she told me to turn it down some. Like, we're stretching it. So again, I'll give you your credit for what you do. You're a good idea haver, you're a playlister, you're a picture taker. You could be a lot of different things, but I don't know if you're a photographer, a DJ, or a producer. So
Trey May says they're selectors.
We could give them names all night long, just as long as you don't call yourself a DJ, because you're not a DJ.
Right.
So true. And I think I've always said that, for example, as far as the music industry goes, the internet was like you said, a blessing and a curse. It was great because it leveled the playing field.
Right.
And it was terrible because it leveled the playing field.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. I remember when one of my projects went on Apple Music and everybody was like, yo, Kill, how'd you get your album on Apple Music? And I was like, oh, you just do boom, 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 boom. So there was a split second where it was like, oh, shit. Like, but now everybody's music is on Apple Music.
Yeah.
So again, there was a time in hip hop when everybody who did something loved the culture. You know, so I can remember going to the Sounder Market in Philly or going to Funko Mart, and the DJs that worked there were DJs, you know, and they knew the vinyl, so they could give you advice on what to buy, you know. And then I remember it was 96, and I'm in Sam Goody in the gallery, and I go up and I'm like, yo, do y'all have the new MOP? And Shorty behind the counter was like, do we have a mop? No, we don't have a mop. And I'm just like, no, MOP, the group. And she was like, we don't have a mop. And I was just like, this is where the game has changed, because you wouldn't have been able to work at Sam Goody in 1989 and 1990 because you would have had to have some type of musical background to understand the music, you know. So when people are like, yo, I liked a lot of the A&Rs in the beginning days of hip hop, your Dante Rosses, you know, your Mr. Daves at Payday Records, you know, you had these people because they were hip hop heads themselves, you know, and the people that they were signing were of a certain echelon, you know what I mean? And I compared them to kind of bouncers at the club. Like, you kept the right people out and brought the right people in. Whereas again, like you said, it's a gift because, hey, everybody can get on Bandcamp and everybody can get on Tidal and the playing field is even. But the problem is that everybody's on Bandcamp and everybody's on Tidal, and you know, anybody who can barely even put a rhyme together can upload their music and get on Apple. And it's kind of like, I guess it's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing and a curse, you know. So,
it is definitely, because in the early days and you know, late 90s, early 2000s, when this all started, it was kind of like, you know, that's when I first got involved working with Chuck, and it was like, wow, this is really gonna change shit here. And Chuck was a visionary, you know. He saw that stuff coming, and everybody's told him, "Nah, you're crazy." And he was just ahead of his time because, you know, it was like, yeah, no, he's like, we're going to sell there's a poison going on. We're going to sell it on the internet. I remember stores were boycotting that album. Oh, Public Enemy wants to sell their music online, so we're not going to sell it. It's like, no, this is like, it's going to head that way. But he was like, what, 5 years too early, 6 years too early.
And that's the thing. The game is all about time. And I tell people, you look at the Don't Curse video. I remember when it dropped and Big Daddy Kane had on a silk shirt and we was all looking like, yo, bro, what are you wearing? Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Then you fast forward 5 years and who's on a silk shirt on a boat with a bottle of champagne? And just Jay-Z. You know what I mean? And I'm sure Kane was like, yo, I did that first. It was me in a silk shirt. But hip-hop wasn't ready for it, you know? And then Jay comes out with a silk shirt and tells people to stop wearing jerseys, and people stop wearing jerseys. And, you know, now he's a billionaire, you know? So, again, it's like, timing is so important of when you do things. So,
it truly is.
We've had some dope artists on this show that, you know, only had one album because the timing was bad. You know, and you hear them, you're like, God damn, like, how are we not rocking them like album after album after album? It's just like timing was bad. You know, because the record company dragged their feet or whatever. But yeah.
And I mean, the hard part, too, is once you start getting into the 90s, I tell people, I went to Morgan in 92, and Crossover just came out. And Parrish Smith said, still, I haven't seen one rapper living comfortably. Then you fast forward 4 years to 96, and now you got MTV Cribs. You know what I mean? So what happened in them 4 years that took somebody from saying, still, you haven't seen a rapper living comfortably, of EPMD, who at the time could have been hip-hop's biggest group, and if not, one of the top three.
One of the top.
Yeah, you know, and then now fast forward 4 years and you got MTV Cribs. I remember an article in the Source where Tip was saying after Midnight came out, he had to make a decision. Did he want to move out of his mother's house or get a BMW 3 1/4? And he got 3 1/4. So it's just amazing to think that Q-Tip during Midnight Marauders is sleeping in a twin bed in his sister's room in Queens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is kind of crazy, but then, you know, like I said, you fast forward, now you got MTV Raps and you got the pools and the pool rooms and the boom boom rooms and 50 cars and everything like that. So, you know, it's definitely timing, man. There's so many of those albums that probably got made in 96, like Large Professors, the LP. You know, you're making it 95, 96s, Dirty's SP1200, filtered bass lines, but then by the time it's ready to come out, Bad Boy owns the radio.
Yep.
And the label's like, what are we going to do with this? Like, bro, so again, you had so many of those albums that those follow-up albums or those debut albums from a lot of dope groups that kind of either got shelved. We did an episode of Apartment 5B about that, about shelved albums. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And just, you know, record labels, you know, closing down. I had Grap Love, a Peace Little Brother. He's always on. And I, who I think have a classic Pop Mike album that just got shelved, and Large Pro's album got shelved. Trey Lee, who's always on the show, his second album got shelved. So there were so many artists who got shelved around that 96 to 2000 time span because labels and radio was changing so much.
Yeah, it's changing quickly too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, man. I'll never forgive Geffen Records for shelving the LP.
Man, 5 Mike album to me, man.
Yep. One of my all-time favorites.
Yeah. Large Pro, and I think he never really bounced back from that. You know, I mean, I know he's still doing work and everything like that.
Yeah.
That album was just, I think if that album would have dropped the way it was supposed to drop, people would talk about Large in a bigger light. You know what I mean? Because I remember when he said, you know, buy the album when I drop it. It was like, yo, when's Large Pro dropping? And, you know, we got Mad Scientists and we was like, yo, this is crazy. And I just want to chill. And then it's kind of just disappeared. You never knew anything. You know what I mean?
Yep. And we didn't have the internet back then to figure out what the hell was going on.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Yep. Well, it was, well, actually it was in the very infant stages, but not like it is now. But yeah. Hey, real quick, let's talk about the community work you do. You know, because I'm always impressed when you do talk about that kind of stuff. You know, the work you do with the kids. Yeah.
What it was is I went, you know, my whole life, ever since I saw Crush Groove in '85, I wanted to be a record exec. I wanted to be the next Russell Simmons, you know, the next Andre Harrell. And I went to college. I hosted our hip hop show 88.9, which was kind of like the DMV's equivalent to Bob Beto and Stretch's show in New York.
Yeah.
I did that. I interned for labels. And during some of those internships, I kind of saw how shady the record industry was. And it was kind of like, yo, I really think for me to go for mine in this business, I'm going to have to kind of be cutthroat. And that's not my character. So it kind of got me at a point where I was like, yo, am I willing to change who I am? And it was like, nah. So I'm talking to my mentor, but now I don't know what I want to do. I got this degree in communications. I've done all this stuff. And I'm talking to my mentor. And he was like, yo, you should work with kids. I think you'd be dope with kids. And I was like, I fucking hate kids. Fuck, I want to work with kids. You know? And it was just like, and now 22 years later, I'm fucking still working with kids. But it kind of, the seed got planted. I always talk about, you know, people plant seeds, then people water them, and then comes the harvest. And when I was doing Strictly Hip Hop, a neighboring elementary school in Baltimore, Montebello Elementary, reached out and was saying that the kids didn't have school supplies. So one of the things I started at the station was Demo Madness, so where local artists from Baltimore could come up and get their demos played. And I basically was like, yo, if you want to get your stuff played, you got to bring me a bag of school supplies. And whoever brings me like the biggest bag of school supplies, you'll get more run. So it was like, so after about a month of that, we were able to go to the school and really just bless the kids with so many supplies. It was really dope. So I think that was the seed that kind of was planted of like, yo, I kind of like rocking with kids. And for the past 22 years, I've kind of been in every hood in DC, you know, running teen centers, doing different things like that. So I'm in a neighborhood now. It's one of those things where I only talk about it on the timeline like a little bit because I'm in the hood. So it's kind of like a lot of times I don't even say what hood I'm in. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some of the kids I rock with, you know, they got beefs with other neighborhoods. So I kind of like, I always tell people, you only get like 10% of like my everyday in the neighborhood. But it's just all about giving back, man. It's just all about trying to, you know, help the kids. And now I kind of work more so with the families because, you know, there was a time I told a kid like, yo, you can go to college. He went home. He came back the next day. He was like, yo, Mr. Kill, my mom said, you don't know what the fuck you talking about. You know, I can't go to college, you know. And I ain't even know the mother. I knocked on the door like, yo, shorty, why would you tell your son that? You know, and from the conversation, it kind of just was like, you know, she almost had a dream deferred. So she still had things she wanted to do. And because she wasn't doing them, it was like, nah, you ain't going to be able to do your shit either. So kind of put the bug in my bag. Okay, let me start working with these families. So if I can kind of help them see that they can still reach their dreams and they can become better cheerleaders for their kids. So that's kind of, I still work with the teens, but I'm more so like working with the parents. I lead a men's group in the neighborhood. So, you know, I'm always trying to compare sports. So I may be like, yo, what's everybody's team? Cowboys, Redskins, whatever. Yo, what if the Redskins never win? You ever gonna stop being a fan? Nah, man, that's what commitment is about. Yo, you never leave. And I'm like, so why aren't we that committed to our wives and children? You know what I mean? Or, you know, well, who's a player on your team? What they need to work out in the offseason? Oh, they need to do, okay, well, we ain't having a meeting for another 2 months over the summer. So what you gonna work on? You know, what are you going to come back next year better at? Is it your patience? Is it your, you know, are you going to have a job? What are you going to do? So I'm just constantly always just trying to challenge folk, you know, to just kind of do better. And, you know, so I love it, but I'm not going to hold you. I'm getting tired. You know what I mean? Because, you know, people don't talk about it, but the post-COVID, these post-COVID kids are off the hook, you know? Yeah. And I'm always explaining to people, you had grown folk with mortgages, car notes who were like, yo, we going back to work? Nah, fuck that. I quit. You know what I mean? Like, yo, we worked from home for 2 years. I'm not coming back in the office. Well, what do you think a 15-year-old is thinking? You know, I ain't have to go to school for 2 years. Fuck, I ain't coming back. But people ain't talking about the dropout rates around the country. You know, we're not talking about kids who had 13 people living in a 2-bedroom apartment who were stuck during quarantine. Like, can you imagine being stuck in a 2-bedroom apartment with 13 people? You know what I mean? 6 of your siblings all trying to find a corner to study and be online. Like, yo, you know how much anger and animosity you got when you come out of that situation? You know, and that's what we're dealing with now. We see it every day. I mean, whether it's Philly, Detroit, Chicago, LA, New Orleans, DC, Baltimore. Every day somebody is getting killed. You know what I mean? Because people are just on edge. You know, there's still people who don't have jobs. You know, they don't report about that anymore. So if you're blessed to still have your job, you may be thinking, oh, I don't know if anybody else does this, but when I stop watching the TV show, I just think the whole world does. So like, I stopped watching Modern Family. I was like, this shit is still on. I thought everybody stopped watching. So, you know, you kind of think, oh, I'm working, I'm good, you know, and you kind of think everybody else is, there are people out here who still don't have jobs, who have lost houses, have lost cars, have lost everything, you know, and are just doing what they feel like they need to do to survive. So it's crazy times that we're living in. So, you know, I'm definitely trying to kind of ease my way, like, out the hood. Like, I want to come out once every while, hey, what's up? But, you know, I'm definitely trying to get away from, you know, somebody asked me the other day, one of my people was like, yo, they looking for you. I'm like, I'm in the hood every fucking day. I'm the easiest person to find. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to get away from that and becoming a little more, you know, maybe doing some fundraising or something else, but definitely trying to get away from being in the neighborhood every time. Because at the end of the day, I got to get home to my family every day. You know?
Exactly.
And that's got to be stressful, man, for your mental health, seeing, you know, these kids that are struggling and families and whatnot. So,
you know, the thing is, it is and it isn't, because I've been doing it so long, you know, so it's kind of like you build up this tolerance to it. So it's sad. But, you know, in the beginning, it'd be like me and my wife were like, yo, should we take him in? And like, should we adopt this kid? You know, I ain't adopted nobody no more. But, you know, I'm going to try my best to get your moms and your dad and your family to support you the best way that we can. And I mean, to me, it's just being able to look myself. I have some kids who were locked up for murder. You know, and I sleep great at night because I offered them everything. You know, my biggest thing at 48 is I just don't want to have regrets. So it's kind of like, I went to school. I went to the court cases. Why are you selling drugs? You need haircuts. I'll cut your hair for free. Why are you selling drugs now? Oh, you need studio time. I'm a producer. I'll bring the studio equipment to the, you know, what do you need now? Like, I've answered every question. And at the end of the day, what I realize is some people just like this life. Like, this is like a religion to them. Like, me trying to tell an atheist, hey, you should believe in Jesus. Goes in one ear and out the other. Atheist trying to tell a believer, Jesus isn't real, in one ear and out the other. For some of these kids, This life is their religion. You can take away. They're just used to giving people excuses, like, oh yeah, if I give me a beat, nonstop, But I was the dude who was just blessed to be able to take away all those excuses and see at the end of the day, you're still not changing your behavior, because at the end of the day, you like this behavior. It's a turn on for you. It's a turn on. I realize some kids, it's a turn on to wake up in the morning and not know if I'm gonna live or die, or if I'm gonna have to bust my gun today or not. Like, y'all enjoy that shit. The shit I had to do growing up in Philly, I kind of just did that shit to survive. And I couldn't wait to leave. It was like, college, good, let's go. Get me the fuck out of it. Like, get me off this crazy ride. This shit crazy, Other people are like, nah, go to college. Nah, this my life. This is what I do, So then we're dealing with so much more of that now, more than ever. Like, again, I've been doing this 22 years. I tell folk all the time who try to debate me on the timeline, my God, I'm in the hood every day.
Yeah. It.
You not too many other folk, unless you're a teacher, unless you're doing work like me, you probably never come back to the hood, as you shouldn't. If you work hard to get out the hood, you stop by, see your moms, see your peoples, and you leave. But trust me, I see it every day too well, and it's not good out here, man.
Why do you think the attitude has changed from when you were growing up, that and you wanted to get out? Because it seems like people of our generation, that was the mindset. It was like, I'm going to do this so I can get out. And why do you think that has eroded or changed over time? Do you have any thoughts?
To be honest, man, we could talk about the school system, when No Child Left Behind got started. Mm-hmm. I remember it was around 97 when I graduated, and it was like schools were like, yo, come be a teacher. We'll pay back your student loans. We're looking for men teachers. We're looking for black men teachers. So all you started doing was getting a whole bunch of teachers. I believe teaching is a calling. So the same way like a pastor is a calling and all that, a teacher and having to care for these kids is a calling. And when you say things like, yo, we'll pay back your student loans, if somebody doesn't have a job and somebody has student loans, right, you're going to pay them back. I'd be a fool not to teach for 3 years. I could hate kids, but who cares? I need a job. Y'all gonna pay back my loans? I only gotta do this for 3 years. Fuck these kids. And so you had those teachers. You had it when we're now just teaching towards the test. So it's like America decided to play whose dick is bigger today. And it's like, yo, your test scores are better. Russia's are better. China's are better. Fuck that. We just teaching to the test. We ain't teaching these kids nothing for that they can know and become great people. We just want to be able to stick out our chest and say, look at our test scores. You got that playing, you coming into play. So now our kids aren't as smart. So I've seen kids who are in 11th grade reading on a 3rd grade reading level. You know what I mean? So why would that kid want to go to school?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's embarrassing. My old boss, my ED, loved hooping. Every time he'd be like, yo, kid, let's go play hoops real quick. We're going to go to the gym and shoot up. Curtis, I can't fucking play basketball. I can't play. I'm not fucking good. I don't want to go play basketball. It's embarrassing. I don't want to. He's like, no, kid, let's go. We got to play basketball. And every day I'm fucking embarrassed. It's like, that's how a kid would feel. Think about something you're not good at and someone putting you in that position on a daily basis. You don't know how to swim. Guess what? We go in the pool every fucking day, 10 feet or better. And that's how these kids feel when it's like, oh, I can't read, but no, go to school. And then the teacher know you can't read. The kids know you can't read. Kids are vicious now, so they making fun of you because you can't read. So now you drop out and you can't read equals what? What job are you going to get? So I'm going to have to sell drugs. I'm going to have to steal cars. I'm going to have to do some dumb shit because what else do I do with my time? Then you throw in the more music because I remember coming up in our day, doing drugs was whack. You didn't do drugs. You know what I mean? Even if you was Mobb Deep may have been selling drugs, but they wasn't using drugs. I mean, now our R&B singers use drugs. So everybody's using drugs. So I got kids who are 15 on perks. You know what I mean? Because it's everywhere. So it's just a mixture. So you take away fathers and tear down families and destroy the school system. And now all the media, it's not just hip hop. I mean, again, the R&B rappers are just like, I forgot his name. Deion Cole, I think he's a comedian. He was talking about like After 7, the love songs we grew up on. I give you the moon, the sun, the stars. My love is a fountain. Like, I just want to love you. And the songs now, they're like, I give you some dick. Like, I mean, I ain't got nothing else, but I give you that. Like, So then you put on that all these kids are hearing the sex. So you just throw everything that I just say in one big bowl and mix it all up together, and voila, there you got the generation that we have right here. Sex crazed kids who are on drugs at 15, can't read, no family upbringing. And, I realized that most of my kids are making out bucket lists. They don't think they're going to live past 18. So when they get to 16, it's like, hey, I'm about to die in 2 years. I need to start having some fun. So let me go out here and steal some cars and shoot at some people and have some kids and, everything like that. And I always tell to older folk, God forbid, if we got told we only have a year left on this earth, I don't think anybody's worried about going to work. And what's my bucket list? I want to go to Africa. I want to do this. I want to skydive. You're going to do all the things you want to do. So if one of my kids really believes in their heart of hearts that I only got 2 years left because nobody from my neighborhood lives over 18, I'm going to go out here and do some dumb shit. And what am I going to be able to do to tell you that, not to? It'd be like the doctor giving you who you got 1% chance of living. That doctor telling you, no, come on, that 1% is good. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like, so again, I'm the boy like, hey, yo, you can live past 18. And then it's sad because then when they do live past 18, you got 5 kids from 5 different women and you dropped out and you got 4 gun charges and you're on the run by the cops and, you get to live until you're 72. Like, it's a fucked up life to kind of have, but I get it. It's one of those things where I'm always like, I understand, I get it. You know what I mean? I don't agree with it, but I get it,
Oh, dude, me and my wife talk about it all the time. And we don't, I'm getting an echo. Jenny, is that you?
No, she's muted.
Okay. So I told my wife one time, and she really got pissed at me. I was like, because we lived in an urban area here in Louisville, so we live downtown. And, I don't say, I don't live in the hood, but I can see it from my house, right? And so I told her, I was like, I understand why young black men sell drugs. Like, I get it. The whole system's stacked. Like what you said, like, if they're in the worst schools in the city and they can't read at their grade level, and they're being told, you're no good and this and everything stacked against them. I understand because I have a friend of mine he's far right, and I would say I'm far left, right? I'd say I'm in the middle of the road, but I would ask him, I'm like, if your mom and your sister had no food and you couldn't get a job and you weren't educated, what the fuck would you do? You would do what you had to do to support your family.
Yeah.
And, that's the kind of shit that just drives me crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, the sad part is I know how you meant it, but it's not even a race thing. Cause I know young white folk who are out here selling.
Oh,
crap.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no.
And that's the hard part about it. And it's like one of my, and I catch hell for this on Twitter all the time when I say, white folk aren't guests in hip hop. You know what I mean? And people are like, yo, that's fucked up what white people did to black people. I'm like, some. The fucking key word is some. You know what I mean? And it may be because my grandmother, who just passed away, was white. I have a different upbringing, with white folk than most people do. So, and I piss people off all the time. And I don't give a fuck because I'm like, yo, I teach my kids that, like, yo, there are good and bad people. That's it in this world. Yep. There are great black people. There are fucked up black people. There are great white people. There are fucked up white people. I just want great people around me. I don't give a fuck what color you are. I don't care what you do, what your sexuality is. If you're a good person, that's who I want around. And that's what I'm always trying to teach my kids. And again, I get it, but one of my friends, we got to this whole back and forth. He was like, yo, what about white people stealing all our publishing in the record industry? What the fuck about Puff stealing all our fucking publishing? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, yo, I'll argue with my man Malik, who's like one of my best friends. He's like, Malik, he's like, Killer, I don't get it. I said, Malik, who shot up my house when I was in high school? Black people. Okay, so according to your philosophy, I shouldn't even be cool with you because you're a black man and somebody black shot at my mom's house trying to kill me. So if I went by that, me and you shouldn't even fucking be friends. So I can't just sit there and say, oh, one black person robbed me, so I ain't gonna be friends with no black people. We can't do that. You know what I mean? And it kills me because all the hell I get for it. I'm like, I don't even think people are really listening where I'm saying there are good people of every race. There are bad people of every race. I tell people, when you come to my motherfucking house, yo, you're going to see everybody here. You're going to see people from the hood. You're going to see people from the church. You're going to see white folk, black folk, Asian folk, gay folk, straight folk. Everybody's here. You know what I mean? So And again, I get it, but again, I have a different upbringing. My mom's best friend was white. My grandmother was white. I was around nothing but white folk who just loved on me. So I can't get with the Lord Jamal, white folk are a guest in hip hop. Me and they was watching Wild Style. And she was like, "Daddy, there's white people there." I was like, "Oh yeah, white people been down with hip hop since day one." You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's kind of just like, then people are like, "Well, how deep would it?" I don't fucking know how deep they were there. Like, I didn't count. I wasn't there. I'm looking at the fucking documentary. Look at Star Wars. Wild Styles movie. Well, Star Wars is a documentary. How about? So again, it's just one of those things where, when anybody's back is against the wall, it's just how are you going to react? You know what I mean? So again, and I always challenge people to come out to my teen center, and a lot of folk don't come. Almost nobody comes. You want to know who comes out? White folk. That's who comes out. Those are the people who I get to volunteer at my teen center. So I'm on Twitter, hip hop Twitter, Black Twitter, all these Twitters that I'm begging people to come out. And again, it's the white folk who come out to help me with my kids. So again, I'm just challenging folk. If y'all got beef with that, if y'all got that much beef with white folk, will come out here, beat them. I got 5 white people. Can I get 6 black? Like, how can we do an auction or something? Like, how do we get more people out here? So at the end of the day, it's just like, put your money where your mouth is. Everybody's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get out to your teen center. I'm gonna get, yeah, sure, I got you, right?" So it's just one of those things, man. It's just one of those things.
Yep. Oh man.
Dude, I'm so glad you're on the show tonight.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for having me, man. Thank y'all, man.
So before we wrap up, real quick, favorite breakbeat.
Oh, and Peace the President, the Honey Drippers. Oh God, every time I hear that to this day, I just love it. I think the best flip of Impeach is when Pete used it for Ionized Faking Jacks. He just chopped it and flipped it and just everything, but definitely Impeach the President.
That's a good pick. Good choice.
Well, on that note, hold up. I'm going to ask him. So,
go ahead.
All time favorite PE track.
Oh God, probably Black Steel in the Hour Chaos because of that piano riff. Again, my mom plays piano, so I'm just a sucker for pianos. And trust me, when I found that Isaac Hayes sample, again, brainhead emoji, it was just like, yo, like it's just such a menacing piano line, and the track is so menacing. And Chuck with I got a letter from the government, and then the video, and it's like you can just stockpile it. Like, yo, the track is dope. What Chuck is saying is dope. The video is dope. Just everything about it is just perfect, man.
Yeah, it's a perfect song. Absolutely is.
And even the title is like, to this day, I didn't get a chance to ask Chuck, but it's like, yo, what the fuck is Black Steel in the Hour Chaos? Like, what does that even mean? Like, but I mean, just everything about it was just amazing,
man. Which album, if you had to, this is a dumb question, but Fear or Nations?
Nations, just because, I mean, I always talk about how we grew up in a 12-inch era. Yes. So a lot of times, by the time we got the album, we already heard, Rebel Without a Pause. We already heard Don't Believe the Hype. We already heard Night Living Bass Heads. We already heard, Bring the Noise. You know what I mean? So by the time we get the album, most of these times, the albums in 88, by the time we got them, we're only hearing 4 to 5 new songs. Yeah. Because we've kind of heard so many. So because those songs I may have started hearing PE, I probably heard Rebel Without a Pause in 87. And then you hear all that. So I think I picked Nations just because it was like a build up to it. Whereas like, by the time we get to Fear of a Black Planet, we're just you get the single of Pterodome, and then like 2 months later, the album drops. Yep. And that's kind of like a change in the way hip hop was put out, because prior to 90, again, with EPMD, I heard Your Customer. I heard, Strictly Business. I heard You Got to Chill. I heard Your House, all before the album even came out. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, Nations for me.
Okay, and then one last comparison, because I got to ask, because it came up with somebody else that I talked to a while back. Low End Theory or Midnight Marauders?
I go Midnight. I think it's one of those things you can't have a right or wrong answer. It's always Midnight or Low End, or Mecca and the Soul Brother or Main Ingredient. Those are like always the conversation. I'm like, there's no right or wrong answer. And I always tell people on the timeline, it's about what speaks to you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like somebody was saying something like, yo, I really ain't feeling the Freddie Gibbs, which I love. This is like my album of the year right here. Like, I love this Freddie Gibbs album. And somebody's like, what'd you say?
I gotta check it. I haven't heard it yet.
God, I love it. And I wasn't even a big Freddie Gibbs fan. And when I say fan, that doesn't mean I don't like him. It just when I define a fan, I'm like, oh, Freddie Gibbs is coming to town. I'm going to see Freddie Gibbs. That's how I define like if I'm a fan. So people hear that and they be like, damn, you don't fuck with Freddie? Like, no, I like him, but I'm just not a fan. Like when Tribe came out, I like Tribe. I was like Benita Applebum, it's cool. When Low End dropped, that's why I was like, oh, I'm a fan now. Like people's instinctive, I was like, that's cool, it was cute, you know, can I kick it? You know, all that. But you know, and somebody was like, yeah, I really ain't feeling this, but I love Alchemist and Rock Marcy, the Elephant Man Bones. And I was like, yeah, I kind of feel the way about you feel about this that I feel about that. So again, why argue about it? Like there's no argument, bro. It's just what speaks to you. I love fried onions on my cheesesteak. My wife fucking hates fried onions. Like we're not gonna argue over fried onions. Like it's like I always use food. It's like, dog, I'm not. People like, oh, Kill, you're hating on Boldy James. I'm like, yo, I don't like tomatoes. Am I hating on a tomato because I don't fucking want a tomato on my sandwich? Like isn't it just okay if I don't like Boldy James? Like, I didn't say it was whack. I didn't say it was trash. I just don't like him. So, yeah, I just think we, as people, especially people of our age at 48, we got to have a level of maturity where it's just like, yo, dog, if you don't like it, cool. Like, there's no people like, Kill, sell me on Freddie Gibbs. No, thank you. Either you like him or you don't. Like, nigga, I'm not as fucking A&R rap. I'm not gonna sit here and sell you. Do I get a prize at the end of the day if I sell you on Freddie Gibbs? Do I get a $100 Amazon gift card? Like, no, I'm not gonna sell you on him. Listen to him. If you don't like him, you don't like him. Like, so again,
yeah, yo, man, the internet and social media especially has made people think that their opinions, because I always preface it with, okay, well, this is my opinion,
right?
But they think their opinions are fact, and it's like crazy to me. There's like, oh, it's this or that. It's one or the other. I'm like, but why can't it be both?
You know what it is too, man? I give this example. Around my way in Philly, it was the Hood Mall called Cheltenham Mall. And from 10 to 4, that's when families will come out.
Okay.
From 4 to 8, that's when like 11 to 13-ish came out. And from 8 on, that's when 15 and up came out. And those people at the mall, they never mixed. Okay, because the families kind of knew, okay, it's about 4 o'clock, time to, it's like the purge. So, okay, it's about to get kind of crazy up in here, time to get the family out. Yep. And then the young teenagers come in. And then by the time it's 8 o'clock, we got to go because we may get robbed because here come the older teenagers and they left. And we were never in the mall at the same time. Because of social media, we're all in the mall at the same time.
Yep.
And that's where the problem is. I mean, there's so many discussions that I'm like, how old are you? Okay, we don't even need to talk. See, because you not in the mall with me right now. When I was 12, one of my OGs who was 19, 20, let me hang around them. I didn't say a word. I just sat back and just soaked up the game and just listened. I wouldn't even, if I disagreed with them, I wouldn't even dare say a word. Yep. I wouldn't even because they may punch me in my face.
Yeah.
I may get punched in my face. Like, dog, you need to be lucky we even got your little young ass out here with us. And you going to sit here and tell me I'm wrong?
Right.
Let's see. Now we're all in the mall at the same time. Somebody today was telling me about, telling me he knew Corrupt was from Philly when he heard the Chronic. And my first question to him was, before this conversation goes any further, are you from Philly? And he didn't answer. And then I looked at his page and I said, this dude is from Denmark, Copenhagen. Now, here's the thing. I'm never one to front on where you're from. I'm never that, because I hate New York. A lot of New York, my friends from New York be like, yo, you don't know nothing, you from Philly. I know more hip hop than you will fucking ever even think about knowing. It ain't about you from Brooklyn or none of that. So I'm not even gonna front, but I'm just like, bro, I'm from Philly. I'm letting you know that we didn't look at Corrupt as a Philly MC.
Right.
Maybe y'all did in Copenhagen. That's fine. But don't come here from Copenhagen telling me about MCs that come from my city. That's why the first question was, are you from Philly?
Yep.
Even when I'm talking shit about Ben Simmons when he played for us, I'm like, are you a Sixers fan? Because if you're not, the way what Ben Simmons does for the Sixers affects you differently than it affects me. Because you don't give a fuck because that's not your team.
Right.
So we don't even need to have this conversation if you're not from Philly. Before I even go back and forth with you, let's get some ground rules going. You know what I mean? So again, again, like you said, the internet is great. I met people like you. I've met some wonderful people. Everybody on Apartment 5B, I met on the internet.
Oh, that's dope.
Twitter. Everybody. Then people be like, Kill, I want to get on your show, but you and your friends from high school. I'm like, from high school? I don't even know these people in real life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's a beautiful thing. But again, the gift, the curse. You have the gift of meeting great people. You have the curse of just having these people who want to come in. And again, this is no knock on my guy from Cope, Denmark. I don't want nothing. I'm not dissing nobody. I'm just saying, again, if somebody's saying something about Biggie and Brooklyn shit, I'm not entering that conversation. You know what I mean? Well, I may give my 2 cents, but I'm not going to be sitting there talking to somebody who's from Brooklyn trying to argue with them about Brooklyn shit. Like, I can't do that. Like, there's nothing in my brain makes me do that. Like, on Twitter, like, I'll put, yo, I love this Freddie Gibbs album, and I'll get 500 tweets. Like, I don't like it. I don't understand. Like, nothing in my brain tells me, if I see somebody say, yo, I love this new Alchemist Rock Marcy album, and I don't like it, nothing in my brain tells me to tweet, well, I don't like it. I just ignore it. I just keep it moving.
Yeah.
But it shows me, and this is a true life story, it's a very lonely place out here right now.
Yeah.
There's a love deficit. People think it's only in the hood. No. There's a love deficit out here.
Yeah,
a lot of people
seriously.
do not feel loved. A lot of people don't have family. I tell people, if you can wake up in the morning, you got at least one person who loves you, you are winning. Because there are people out here who don't have anybody who loves them. You know, there are people out here who are lonely. There are some people who all they got is Twitter. They don't have anybody else to talk to. So they get on here and they say dumb shit. And even though it may make them look dumb, guess what? I'm getting people to interact with me. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's a crazy world because, like, yeah, but we're calling you stupid as shit. But it doesn't matter.
Right.
You know, if you don't have somebody to talk to, you, hey, look at this. I got 28 people I got to reply to. Yeah, they're calling me dummy and stupid and dumb. But hey, guess what? I got somebody to talk to. So at the end of the day, it's sad as shit, too. You know what I mean? So, you know, I try to poke fun at it, but it's a very serious issue that a lot of people, you know, are lonely. A lot of people don't have people to talk to. It's why we have these cliques, you know, why you have Beyonce has the Beehive, and Nicki Minaj has the Barbies, and you know this. And I always got a nickname for the stands. You know, for Black Thought, it's the Deep Thinkers, and for the, you know, Jay-Z, it's the Jehovah's Witnesses. And we didn't have those when we was growing up. We didn't. Right. You know, again, Big Daddy Kane basically Rosa Parked me into popularity. But when he came out with a whack album, I was like, nah, that's whack. I wasn't like, oh yeah, it's kind of okay. And I mean, no, it was whack. You know, you can't do that nowadays because you ride with them. When Benny the Butcher's Tana Talk 3 came out, I gave it 4.5 mics. Somebody DM'd me and said, Kill, I thought you fucked with Griselda. I said, I love Griselda. What are you talking about? I'm at every show. He's like, well, why didn't you give Benny 5 mics then? Because I thought it was 4.5. See, that's a stand mentality that even though I don't think it's a 5, I have to give it a 5 because I'm a Griseldian. You know what I mean? And it's like, dog, like, no. You know, so again, it's and it comes back to that loneliness. People don't have, because you know what? The Jehovah's Witnesses, guess what? If I rock with them, I get people who have my back. So when I say something about Jay-Z, I can have all the, or if you say something about Beyonce, you can get all the Beehive to come back at you. And you can get all these people to have your back. And now you've got all these quote unquote friends and everything like that. So again, bro, I always tell people, man, I never try to be a Debbie Downer, but we are living in some fucked up times, man.
Yeah.
You know, when you really start to peel back the onion, it's again, social media have you thinking everybody's fucking winning, and we're really not. You know, at least 80% of these people out here are lying like shit every day. Yeah. You know.
Yep. Well, you put that very well, and I want to thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it, man.
And anything you want to promote?
I mean, just Apartment 5B, man. We'll make beats for food.com. That's everything. My beats, projects I'm working on. Me and my man, What Up Vern, just dropped an album called I Don't Mind on Bandcamp, which is dope. But again, we'll make beats for food.com. You can go there and get everything. The new episode of the podcast is up with Chuck D, which was, again, my hip hop hero. That was like, just, I couldn't even fucking believe it. He's like, yeah, I squeezed you in between Will Smith and John Sally. And I'm like, wow, like you squeezed between fucking Will Smith and John Sally. I'm good. For Chuck to sit here and tell me that he's a fan of me, all I need to hear. I'm good to go after that. And it's funny because I thank you for talking about the stuff that I do in the neighborhood, because the bulk of Twitter is always about, you know, hip hop. And I love that. But one of the things we are trying to do with Apartment 5B is talk about more health issues. I'm 48. We're getting older. I have fibromyalgia. I just found out I had scoliosis. So what I'm trying to do is like bi-monthly episodes where we talk to different people about health issues that they're going through. So just God forbid, anytime, because here's the thing, if you're blessed to keep living, shit is going to start falling apart. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where, it's dope that somebody could say, Kill, what do you think about this Pac album? I don't fuck with Pac, but let me get Portia, my co-host, to talk to you about Pac. I want to be able to do that with real life shit. I want somebody to be like, yo, Kill, I just got diagnosed with MS. Yo, I got 3 people with MS. Let me connect y'all so they can kind of give you game on how to do all this. So again, it's kind of like one of those things like I try to teach my kids. I'm like, yo, use your power for good. You have power. Right now you're using it for evil. Let's use it for good. It's like social media. We have this power. J. Rue once said, yo, when you have a voice to say something, say something. And we have this voice. We're able to connect with people from all over the world. Use this voice to say something. I always put a challenge out every week. And I just say, let's change some lives on the timeline. It's cool to talk hip hop. It's cool to do all of that stuff. But let's change some lives and shape some souls.
That's what's up. That's beautiful. Thank you, sir.
Nah, thank you. Thank you guys for the invite, man. We got to get you on 5B. All of y'all on 5B.
Yeah, man.
Anytime, man.
Sounds good.
All right, let's make it happen, y'all.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
man.
All right.
All right, peace.
I meant to say, too, damn it, he left. Dude, he has the baddest intro into his podcast. I don't know if you watched it.
I did. Yeah.
Dude, I was like, damn, we need to do some shit like this.
I got an idea. We'll come back to that for
Good.
our year anniversary. You guys aren't gonna want to do it, but I found this
Well,
video today.
if it involves Ice Cube, I'm in. So
it involves dancing. So
I'm down.
My.
I'll do the worm.
My.
I can do the worm.
Hey, before we wrap up tonight, I gotta bring on another friend of the show, our homie R. Stromy, that's gonna fuck you up if you front. And
He
and he's
really
muted.
looks like it.
Damage in the house.
Damage in the house.
You're muted.
You're muted, D.
You are muted.
He's
He might be
unmuting,
sleeping
I
with his
think.
eyes open.
Yes. Oh yeah, don't fall asleep on the show.
He won't.
I'm a professional.
Wouldn't dare.
You're a professional. Yes.
He's a professional.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Damage.
Tonight.
D&D. How are you, sir?
What's good? What's good? How y'all doing tonight?
Doing all right, bro.
Good.
Yeah. So, you've been waiting in the wings. You have an announcement.
Where is everybody else?
So Yahoo Front, me and Spin and everybody's involved. We have a new endeavor that we're announcing called unknownplanet.org,
Mm-hmm.
where we'll be releasing music and all kinds of creative projects. The site isn't like
I'm going to bring in Jay Gray because Jay Gray is here. So,
oh yeah, Jay Gray is one of the
Gray.
artists on Unknown Planet. What's up, Jay?
What's good? How you?
Everything is awesome.
peace, bro.
Let me introduce you guys to Jay
y'all
Gray.
doing?
He's an artist here in North Carolina, and we linked up several years ago. We met in the back of a barbershop. I was working with a record label out there, and I was literally staying in a room in the back of a big building apartment. It was like a garment district warehouse at one point, I remember. So it's this big room, and they had built a little area in the back, and we had a studio in there. And he was one of the guys there. He was a barber there. And, we never really linked up until one day he was like, hey, man, you in this group called Yahoo Friend? I was like, yeah, actually I am. And after that, he played me some of his music. It was amazing. And I was like, you trying to do this, man? I'm not really trying to do that. And I could respect that. I was like, well, man, look me up. And we stayed in contact. About a couple years ago, we decided we were going to get back together and start working on stuff. And along that, me and Spin started working on stuff. Me and Jingle had collaborated on a couple of things. And I began to kind of like formulate the idea, what could we do? Like, should we go and try to maybe get deals or whatever? And Jay Gray was real instrumental. I said, hey, man, listen, what I really need is I need somebody that's, that's a hard worker, but, has a job. It's not going to sit up here and dream about, the higher heights of the music industry. And, I had listened to his music and his pedigree. I was really super impressed by, his choice of beats. He made his own beats and his lyrics were hard. So we decided that we would try to go ahead and put together a project along with Spin. Spin was down too, and he began to collaborate with Jay Gray and also my partner Jay Giza, who works with me with Team Lucci, which is the multimedia company that we have. And it started coming together. I was over at Spin's house, and I was like, "What are we gonna call it?" And then it just dawned on me. I don't remember. It hit me. I was in Spin's garage, and it was like Unknown Planet. We want to go take it to I was inspired by do our broadcasts actually reach out into the cosmos? Are there like planets who actually listen to the music from Earth? Are there technologies that can even translate, or even like there was this Reddit post one time where an alien supposedly came on to Reddit and gave us coordinates and said, "Hey, I just came to check you guys out, let you know what's going on."
Oh,
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
wow.
I mean, that's pretty deep cut, but that made me go. And he was able to connect to Reddit, use the internet. One of the guys in Australia that was chatting back and forth was like, "Hey, come to these coordinates," and like the dude took pictures of what he saw, which was a ship. Anyway, it's out there. Unknown Planet. A lot of the stuff that we find that's in music and hip hop today is like discoverable. I was listening to, some people talk about, music and how accessible it is recently. And, I get that it's a lot of ways that you can, make music nowadays. There's all kinds of stuff. You could probably bet that, if you believe in other civilizations, they're probably doing the same thing.
Mhm.
It's all about but it's about the music you listen to, the people you listen to. You got you got Spit Slam. I'm sure you guys listen to the music from Spit Slam. You got fans of people's different genres. I came in at the
I'm a
tail
fan of
end.
this guy right here, Joe City in the house.
Yeah, that's right. Joe City's got fans.
Joe
Joe
City.
City's a part of Unknown Planet as
What
well.
up?
So we decided that we would, come together in our different galaxies. You know what I mean? Like Joe City's got his own platform. Jay Gray's got his own platform. Of course, Yak Fu Front. Me, I have a platform. Why can't we just stand as individuals, get our stuff together, get our business together, make some quality hip hop, and come out for the hell of it?
That's what's up.
Worry about what anybody else said. We're going to give you the best hip hop we possibly can. And that was part of my dream back in the days when I was working at the radio station, even before I met Spin, to come out with where artists were paid directly. Really, actually, some of the deals, music deals that people have today are about the same. If you know about like 50-50 deals, or even greater, 70-80% to 80-20 deals now. A lot of that I dreamed back then. It makes more sense because you have a bigger access to music, releasing it. We can now release stuff on vinyl and everything, but it also makes sense to collaborate with people just like you do on social media. You collaborate with different entities as well. So like coming together was amazing because it's like it was so organic that I'm really excited to be a part of it. I'm really excited to be looking forward to releases from Spin, Jay Gray, Jay Giza, Ugmo Beats, and pieces from Yag. Well, maybe even old releases from Yag. I don't know about new releases, but we will see.
We will see.
That's here's introduction to Unknown Planet. I hope you patronize us. Come check us out. Listen for hip hop. A lot of good talent, great talent, and a lot of innovative ideas and directions. We hope to take it into to give hip hop something different, something that you can look for from the North Carolina area or really all around that's authentic and direct from the artist. That's what we have. You guys do, pretty much the same. I think that this is something like what we want to call it a micro label. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's not like we're going out to try to sign anybody or anything, or we're looking to, take this to high beyond us individually working with and for each other to come out with some really strong hip hop.
And you said it's
Unknown Unknownplanet.org. O-R-G.
Unknownplanet.org. There we go. All right.
Woohoo!
Got it up. And it's already up and running. I know because I've been listening to it.
Yeah. If you listen, anybody that's on here, I come on the podcast very often, and you guys are pretty much instrumental with helping to put it together, especially with being up with Jennifer, who helps Unknown Planet tremendously. And so, it was really cool how we met through the podcast, and she encouraged me to, take it to another level. We started chatting. Guys do. All the guys that I'm mentioning, Jay Giza, Jay Gray, Spin with his new material.
Mm-hmm.
He recently, I basically like, man, I need your help. It's come together so organically. I think everybody's really excited about what's to come. I don't want to be talking too much. I do want to let you guys meet Jay Gray and ask him a few questions, if you can. Jay,
sure.
I don't know. Yeah.
What up? Peace. How everybody doing?
Yeah.
Doing well, man.
What's up, Jay?
Good, man.
All right.
So after meeting Damage in the back room at the barbershop,
Right.
Yeah.
so you guys reconnected, and you've been working on music for a while.
Yeah, I've been doing, since like early 2000s,
Okay.
bedroom, microphone, Papa Stopper, Fruity Loops, then graduate to the MPC 1000 and all that, but never really releasing nothing, just doing it.
Yeah. So what has made you want to finally put something out for the people?
Well, man, a lot of different things, Damage. Just keep being like, he just keep being like, man, this, it's not as hard as you think it is. It's, it's easy to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As far as like making connections, building up an audience, following and all this, that, and the third, and just releasing. But always been I was born in 78. So really around the time that I could actually listen to music and actually turn the radio station myself around about 7 or 8, that was just when hip hop was going crazy. So I was there.
So you've been in it for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, as far as starting out as a listener as a child and it just grabbing me and having to hold on to me ever since. You know how hip hop do. Y'all know how hip hop do.
Oh yeah. True, man.
Indeed.
Yeah, don't let it take away. Don't forget you were a DJ during that time as well, man. Like in terms of pedigree, here's what I do want to interject and you to talk about, Jay, if you can. And everybody really. What about those who have that stellar talent? A lot of times, cream rises to the top. But what if you haven't, what about that wonderful person, someone's grandmother who is a consummate chef? I mean, makes beautiful, like, brioche buns and, like, all kinds of pastries. I mean, like, better than anything. There was a time, we're older, so we all remember a time where what was cooked at home was better sometimes than what you could get out to eat.
Yep.
Okay. So, in that regard, I feel like that a lot of the stuff that I deal with people is bait. Is it feels authentic and actually rings true to some of the stuff that we remember from our earlier time in hip hop. So that's why I gravitated towards everybody. Joe, Jay Gray, Jay Giza. It has a fresh feeling to me, and it also has the authentic flavor of hip hop. And so that's kind of what encouraged me. As everybody knows, I'm a recluse. I don't really want to get out there. Except for this changed everything. Working with these guys, working with authentic people who weren't, precocious or it's just amazing to be working with people who are dedicated and hardworking towards making really good hip hop. Alongside the fact that I got a chance to work with two guys who were always like that. And so for them to come along and just naturally be in that type of progression is kind of why I gravitated towards working with anyone. It's the authenticity. So Jay, when I say that, I'm just asking you, how much of your experience and kind of rooted in hip hop experience through the changeover from records, Serato, and to today has helped you to keep in connection with that feeling of hip hop?
Well, yeah, the technology definitely, it adds on and it takes away. You know what I'm saying? I give it 50-50, but yeah, the technology, I definitely appreciate all the touch screen and all the airdropping and all this kind of stuff. I appreciate that. But let's get back to the hip hop though, right? It's like, to me, it's so second nature and it's so just something that I do. Damage had to, kind of convince me that, like, you do know people are like doing this, professionally and that kind of thing, because it's just something that I do. Like you say, DJ in parties, for my people that I know, like, not know for the radio stations or nothing like that, but for my friends and birthday parties and doing weddings and all that kind of stuff. Like, I have always done that. It's so much second nature that I really didn't look at it as anything to be shining the spotlight or a microscope on. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So he helped me in the sense of just being like, well, look, let's package it up and see what's up with it. Because even with the Space Patrol material,
I really love Space Patrol, bro.
Yeah. Even with the Space Patrol, that was, let's just say, that was a minute ago. And it was just something that I didn't even have a copy of it. He was like, yo, guess what I got? I was like, what? He started playing it over the phone for me. I was like, so at first I'm listening like, damn, I know that it sounds like and then I'm like, oh wow, you know what I'm saying? Real talk. And that's just how it is now. I would say that it's part that is second nature to me, and I would say part, like, I can't lie and try to act like I'm a superhuman, not human and everything. It's partly just like, since it's my material, I just kind of look at it like, it's, I wrote a 16. Yeah, I put a hook to it.
Right.
Yeah, feeling nice that night. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But really, you know how it is, man. Just like second nature.
Man, discovering this dude, like, just regularly acting like he was like, yeah, I kind of dabble in doing music or whatever. That was his nonchalant way of letting me know that he did music. So, like, all the times that I've probably heard music from all across the country, this is not to take away from anybody else's. Sometimes if you're in the music industry, we're all in the music industry, and you've listened to a bunch of things, there's a place where you can just kind of like lay, where you'd be like, yeah, that's pretty dope. Yeah. You're not necessarily saying anything negative. It's just kind of like landing right there. Mm-hmm. Well, and then, there's people that you're like, wow. And then you're like, the people like, wow, man, you really got to do something. Jay Gray is one of those people. I was like, man, there's regret there, like, you know what I mean? So I definitely held on to that mixtape because I put it together. When I did it, I put together the mixtape because he sent me a whole bunch of random tracks, and I was like, man, I'm gonna put this together to show you exactly what you can do. As long as then when we linked back up, it happened just like he said. But ultimately, I loved all the material he did then. But then he turned around and when we were linking up when he was down in Florida, he turned around and did it again to me. He sent me 7 tracks that were so fire that to the EP that's about to come out.
Dope.
Yeah, dope. That was good.
And then here comes Jennifer. And every time, what is the thing that I say every time he plays me something? What is the thing I say every single time?
Actually, y'all have to keep it real. What really put the fire up under my butt cheek, pause, is the fact that she, every time I was saying, I'm just saying this is in general. She didn't say it specifically like she's saying, but it was better because it was real. She would go, I would be like, hey, what'd you think of this stuff? You want to check it out? She was like, sure. And then I send it to her and she'll go, I'm like, what do you think? And she'll go, I just have really one question. What the hell are you just sitting on this stuff for? And I was like, what do you mean? You're like, yo, what are you like doing? I'm like, yeah, well, you don't understand there's logistics and you know what I'm saying, the way everything's set up, in terms of everybody's positioning. I'm trying to align the stars, all this other stuff. I'm sitting in like yoga position, like meditating for 4 days.
Right,
She's like,
what the hell? It's the craziest thing. Everything he sends to me, I'm like, and we're sitting on this because what are we waiting for?
Right?
It's
the
like
stars
it's
have
like
to align.
a long clock that only it's been churning for centuries, but it's only it's like, and then there are monks all around it and they're like guarding it, and people try to break in and people die. And then they climbed up whole mountains and stuff to try to get in there. They could not get in, right? But when the clock opens, like a door is gonna open, all these lights are gonna come out and all this stuff, and like all the skull demons that were out there with the swords, they get blown away. Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna have to walk the dog just to follow this conversation.
Yes.
You can always rewind. That works really
Yeah.
good.
So this is what I want to know. So on unknownplanet.org, do you have motivational speeches by Damage? Because he is one of the most motivational motherfuckers I've ever met.
I can tell you this, we do have subscriptions. So if you want to be the first one to sign up, or if you want me to personally like coach you on anything, you just let me know. I got you, bro.
I know you changed my life the first time I talked to you.
And listen, here's your first chance right now. Just go ahead, lay it on. How do you need to be motivated? Is it at home? Is it at work? Just let me know.
All right.
He tailors the motivation for your particular needs.
Well, he should.
Bro,
It's personalization.
Structure
Exactly.
geared towards individuals who want to succeed in the coming year, or really in the coming century.
That's right. So how does Mr. Joe City fit into this picture? Bringing them beats.
How doesn't he?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, how do you, Joe?
What up,
I get in where I fit in, man.
What up with you?
Yeah.
No,
listen, Joe City, everybody knows Joe City goes way back like Motley X. He produced our very first single, Looking for a Contract. He is a consummate producer. He has an ear. He is a mastering genius. And here's the thing. When it comes to what Joe is doing for us, it helps to have someone like Joe to not only, produce, but to actually help with, artists and repertoire and other things as well. There's a lot of things that we missed out on, that we discuss on, that we want to make sure is straight. It's stuff like the thing about it is man, like, C-Dot, I know how you kind of came into the game and everything, and you kind of like switched over to the other side, but you still kind of got the hip hop, aesthetic and the rap aesthetic as well. And, there are ticks that you've seen over time with working with artists and what works and what doesn't work, what an artist can do, can't do, individuals with egos, as well as spirited individuals who are super down with hip hop. And, there are little tiny details that all the ducks need to be in a row. And I felt like it would be strong either with us releasing our own material, demos, all the way up to actual mass releases as product to tell, hey, we're out here, but also show that everybody involved could handle themselves in a business manner. That way, we might not, be, billion sellers. We're not out here trying to be Beyonce, but we can find more people to work with on a hip hop level in multiple ways now. And that's the goal. Everybody that's involved has their own thing. Grown men also are very geared toward promoting their material. Joe City, all the J's. J. I wish we could get
Now that I
spin
think
on
about
here.
it, yeah.
We could get spin on here, but his release is coming out, And that's why I want to point out to Joe City and you guys as well, and Jay Gray, is that all this stuff is coming out within the next 2 weeks. But everybody that's involved here, everybody that supports is C-Doc again, and supports all the stuff that us as Yahoo Front do, and have supported me as Damage and Joe City. If you would just go there and check it out. Check out our material. I think you'll like it. It's really good. I mean, like, it's not something that I'm even trying to hype up or try to get out here to promote in a way to be like, yo, y'all need to do it. I think the artwork, the art that we put together, it speaks for itself, and it's fun listens, and you'll probably want to at least patronize us. And at the same time, you know, this is our way of letting people know what we have and how we're coming over the next year. And it's going to be every week. Every week. New releases every single week.
That's fantastic. I'm already a fan of the stream, of the radio, unknownplanet.org.
I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, man, it's super dope.
Yeah,
it's such a great listen. It's such a great listen. So
yeah, man.
Yep. So yeah, appreciate it, guys, and everybody watching the show, watching on the replay, unknownplanet.org. Check it out. If you're ahead, you will not be disappointed. And you know,
thanks so much, guys. Thanks everybody.
Appreciate it.
The guys from the crew. Peace, Jay Gray. Peace.
All right, Joe City. Y'all be good. Nice to meet y'all. Joe City.
Good to meet you, Jay.
I got you, Joe.
I know you do, bro. I know you do.
Yeah. and unknown planet T-shirts for everybody.
Word.
That's what's up.
You already know. Y'all be good.
The look on Jen's face is like, oh, I got to make those T-shirts.
I'm still rocking mine.
Listen, if you want one, you can have one. You don't have to make them all, Jenny. We'll make sure that everybody can get one.
Thanks, D. Joe City, great to see you again, bro.
Good to see you too, man.
Peace, Joe. Peace, Damage.
Peace, Joe.
Appreciate you. See you later.
Yep. We'll be talking to you guys.
All right.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
I'm buying some of these tracks now.
There you go. That's what's up. All right. So, yeah, unknownplanet.org. Everybody check it out. Support. And also, if you'd like to support or you just want to listen to music, because it's all streaming out there, you can check out anything that we release on the Spit Slam record label group. The Spit Slam record label group. A Chuck D situation. Catch us on your favorite streaming platform, on Bandcamp, or visit our official web store at spitslamrecords.com. All releases are available digitally or on CD, with select titles available on vinyl and cassette. The Spit Slam record label group. Throwback to the future sound.
Woo-hoo.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There it is. And as far as Spit Slam goes, we just put out last week the new record from Daddy-O, First Team.
I listened to that today, front to back, while I was working. That
did
shit.
you?
I said Daddy-O a text. I was like, man, this new shit's fire. Like, it hits. It's so good.
So thank you. Thank you, So Chuckify.
Yes.
And shout out to the ODAD. Check out that First Team. Also available on CD from our website, spitslamrecords.com. And if you like what you see, please like and subscribe to the channel. We got more stuff coming. Is next week the year?
It is one full year.
Wow.
Sure is.
Holy smokes.
Crazy,
Holy
right?
Smokes. Yeah. Wow. Crazy.
You know, and
indeed.
that was 54 shows in a 52-week year because you had those two specials.
Yep.
Today was 54.
Today's 53.
Next week.
Oh.
It'll be 54.
Yeah, next week will be Yep. Wow. Fantastic.
Unreal, dude.
Yep. So thanks again to everybody for tuning in. Thank you, JOJ. Thank you, So Chuckify, for being here for the ride, man. Guys can't do it without you guys. So
yeah, don't forget,
you
y'all, go
probably
out to the YouTube channel and check out those past, those back issues, because there's some fire
there are some
interviews.
gems.
Yeah.
There are some gems.
Sorry, Jenny, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Much
No,
like There's some gems, much like little scratch and sniff.
That's right. little scratch and sniff. That's right. Wait, before we go,
I was so gonna do a T-shirt today that said "Free Little Scratch and Sniff," but I thought the better of it.
Wisdom Beats. Huh? When you coming on the show, man? You gotta let us know.
Ooh, 2022.
Oh boy.
Don't miss the latest and greatest scrolling across your screen as we speak.
Oh my God, I hate you.
All content.
I hate you.
All content.
I hate you.
Every piece of content set to the sweet stylings of Orange Juice Jones.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate you.
Poor Jenny.
Her on OnlyFans walking.
Poor Jenny. Oh man.
I hate you.
I love
God bless
you.
you
That's
for
why I
putting
do
up.
it.
God bless you for putting up with us.
No doubt.
So, all right.
Uh-oh.
Thank you.
Uh-oh.
Thank you, everybody. Well, yeah. Thank you, everybody, once again, and everybody watching on the replay. We will see you next week for our 1-year anniversary episode of It's
Yep.
CDoc Again. Peace out.